those of you who don't know Birds Renovations, they're a dynamic team of 3. And they started out when they quit their corporate jobs. And please feel free to jump on in if I'm not telling it right. But they quit their corporate jobs in an ambition to create amazing, beautiful spaces and inspire women to embark on the bathroom journey and the renovation journey, the complete renovation journey, and really make it a reality. So recently, they've pulled together their new book, Birds Renovations, but they also have an amazing reno school which allows you to really get involved, roll up the sleeves, and essentially get immersed in the complete house renovation. It's available online and there's all sorts of tutorials that go with it.
Lana, you need to explain it. I mean, seriously, she's the biggest saleswoman ever.
No, look, it has been hard not speaking for the first 40 minutes or whatever. I've just been dying.
I can see you. It's been killing her.
It's just been so
I'm so surprised you didn't pick up the mic.
I've just been sitting here and I just want to say so many things. Lots of funny stories along the way. I'll quickly tell one now, just briefly. When you're talking about artwork in the bathroom, I was thinking about the time I thought I'll try artwork in the bathroom, and this was pre-3 Birds, and I had absolutely no idea. And I got some sort of cheap canvas print of a Buddha. And
sounds horrendous.
Because I was in the Balinese sort of theme, and I just put it in my bathroom, and the bathroom looked horrendous, and I just had this Buddha in the bathroom. And we had cleaners that would come through once a month to help with the house, and I remember I came home one day and the Buddha had been removed from the bathroom and just sitting outside, and there was a note from my Thai cleaners saying it's extremely disrespectful to put Buddha in the toilet, in the bathroom, and if it's okay, could you not put it back up there? And I just went, oh. So that was a massive artwork in bathroom fail, which, was an interesting experience. But no, back to the Reno School, yes, it's something that, we felt as our business has evolved, and our whole drive and mission is to help people like yourselves really get your dream home and get your dream bathroom. And there's only so much advice we can give on an Instagram post and on Facebook. So that's why we created the Reno School as an online platform where it's got so much content. It's 150,000 words, which is more than 50 Shades of Grey, and hopefully a lot more interesting and exciting. I didn't love that book. Anyway. And we just step you through the renovation process from the very beginning of having it as a figment of your imagination, and how you take that figment of your imagination and carry it through to vision boarding, which we'll talk about, and through to getting trades, getting all the right people on board, knowing what to DIY and what not to DIY. We don't actually do a lot of DIY ourselves. We get the right people to do it. And then seeing it right through to completion and having your dream home, either to stay or even to sell. There's lots of tips throughout the Reno School to sell. So that's what the Reno School is. It's at therenoschool.com. So you can check it out if you like. But a lot of what we talk about today comes through it as well.
It does. Awesome. So should we just get on into it then?
The first thing that I ever do when I'm designing a space is I want to know how I want to feel in that space. And so every decision I make is based on how I want to feel. And I know that sounds so artsy-fartsy and ooh, but it's true. You want to feel a certain way when you're in your home. And what determines that is light and colours and textures and things like that. So back to the point, we call it a vision board. Mm-hmm. And so I always start with a vision board, and anything, that tickles my fancy, that I love, I will pull onto that vision board, and then that's how you're getting that look. But the whole time I'm looking at that vision board, it's how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel in that bathroom? How do I want to feel in that house? And that's kind of how we get to where we get to from a design perspective.
And then I think I'd probably add to that also with the whole how you want to feel in the space. It's not just about how you feel when you look at things, but it's also about how you feel when you touch and move in that space. So for me, without having that design head, I'll look at a space and it's also about how it makes me feel, but do I want to feel relaxed and calm because I know I've got enough storage, for example. That makes
Erin
me
and
feel
I,
good.
you'll get this throughout the process, a polar opposite. I'll start wafting on about something and she'll go, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
That's kind of how we work.
Do you feel good about how much you're going to spend on the space? Does that make you feel good? Do you feel good about the functionality of it? Can your family interact in that space? Can they not? So as well as making the choices about the appearance of it, what's more important to me is how it makes me feel from a practical sense. So I think it's important to weigh up both of them, and that's what we try and do when we renovate and build, is to find that happy medium of that. But it's about how that space makes you feel. It's two sides.
And there's this constant battle where Bonnie is very much focused on how something looks and how that impacts how she feels, and Erin's is how something works and how that impacts on how she feels. And there's often this battle where sometimes there's a bit of a trade-off. I'll give you a classic example. Erin will want a PowerPoint in a location that is easy to use and where you need one. Bonnie would prefer to just have no PowerPoint and no power, okay?
Not true, I hide them.
Well, yes, and
or they don't.
Or they don't exist.
Or they don't exist. And then the electrician comes back to her house 2 months later and puts 10 PowerPoints in.
Yes, yeah, but it's a good point. Or even, a great example, talking bathrooms, is where to locate a shower niche to put your shampoo and your conditioner, right? Erin and I will come at it with a very practical point of view, that it needs to be within arm's length, right on the wall that we want it on, absolutely where it needs to be. Bonnie will say, but that's going to ruin the tile mosaic look I had created on that wall, so I don't want to put it there, if anywhere.
Yeah, because when you were showering in that space, for Bonnie, if it didn't look good, she'd feel uncomfortable and yuck. But for me, if it was impractical, I'd feel uncomfortable. So it's really important to know where your heart lies in that sense. And obviously you want to merge the two and achieve everything, but one of them will stand out for you.
Yeah.
Well, I think we kind of started talking about it with Erin, so we may as well just jump into designing a bathroom space and your tips to nailing a bathroom layout.
The first point, and maybe Ez, you can talk to this around, when we're designing, bathrooms, there are just so many things you can do, and we've just pulled out a few that you might not have thought about, but one that you'll read in all the magazines and that we couldn't go past is nailing your layout.
Yeah, I think it's the crucial first step, is to understand what you want in that space. Is it a toilet and a shower? Is it a toilet shower vanity? Do you need the bath? So making those decisions early on, because we get a lot of, there's often chats on our Reno School Facebook page. I want your advice. Do I need the bath or not? Like, should I put a bath? Should I do a shower over a bath? All of those kind of things. So I think before you even design the space, first off, you need to work out what you want in the space, no matter how big or small it is, just to have that as your anchor point.
And that will also depend on whether or not it is a home that you're staying in or a home that you're selling. So once again, back to Chloe's point, if the case is that you're in a suburb that is based around families and you're selling to a family market, you need to have a bath in your home. But if it's, for instance, like Lana, where she just decides that she's staying in a house forever and she's like, I hate baths, I'm just going to have a shower, that's so fine, because that's her home and that's what she's decided.
Yep, 100%. So once you know what you want in that space, the next step is to actually look at the size of what you're working with and then determine if you're actually going to be able to achieve that, because you won't always be able to achieve that. You might want a bath, a shower, a double vanity and a toilet. And you need a big space to be able to do that, so something's going to drop off the list. So that's when you start compromising on the actual features of what you're going to have in there. And then my advice is to then start the design process. So then work out what you want it to look like, how you want it to, what you want all your finishes to be. But in the first instance, I'd say, I'm going to put my hand up and say, work out that layout and that practicality side, then start looking at the pretty.
Yeah, and with the layout, really you need to really get down to the nitty-gritty. So you can start by drawing it yourself, with a ruler, draw it to scale. There's no point drawing anything not to scale. That will be a major disappointment when you think...
I do that all the time.
Yeah, so Bonnie doesn't draw to scale, it does our head in, okay?
No, but we've even done that before, where we've drawn a bathroom up and realised, the shower door's not going to be able to open because it's going to open onto the toilet or it's going to splash onto the toilet. So taking it beyond the drawing it to scale on paper, we like to map it out. So just go into a room in your house or your garage or wherever it might be, get the tape measure out. We'll use whatever furniture we've got. We'll put a broom as the doorway.
This would be our toilet.
Yeah, that's
we'll
your
just
toilet.
Place things in the
or
spot.
we'll squat in the spot. We'll say, Bonnie's on the toilet. Yeah. Erin, you're in the shower. That's going to splash onto the person as well. And it takes that level of debate and discussion to realise the toilet's too close to the shower. But you need to role play. Okay, role play, check you've got the right elbow room. role play.
Yeah, it's super crucial to do that. Mark it out if you can. What we often like to do also is just to double check once you're in the space, you get your masking tape it out and make sure. Usually by that stage you're done and dusted. You're there, you've got all your appliances, your bits and pieces, fixtures and fittings. But yeah, map it out, take the time. And that leads to the next step, which I guess goes back to Bon a bit, is to pick out your wow feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we start there often.
Yeah, I know that Erin's saying that we start with the layout. I just start with the wow.
See what I've got to deal with?
Yeah.
It's just a constant battle.
In my head, I've already figured out what the wow is.
Yeah, Bon's going to fit the wow into the layout.
Yeah.
I'm creating a layout and squeezing a wow in.
Yeah, so layout is crucial. 100% layout is crucial. And doing exactly what Erin said by actually marking it on the floor is the best way you will figure out if it all fits. Then what you need to do is pretend you're standing at the doorway of your bathroom, and you need to stand there and you need to, what do I want to see that looks beautiful? And whatever that is that you want to see that looks beautiful, it needs to go there. So if you're standing here, it just needs to go straight bang in front of you. And that's pretty much how I design all bathrooms. So that beautiful wow feature is always just going to be straight in front of me, and then I work backwards from there.
We love a freestanding bath, and they're actually a really great one to use in a renovation because they're better on the budget. There's not as much tiling, there's not as much building in the hob and everything, and freestanding bath can actually be really
they're more cost effective.
And one of the things that you need to do really early on is get all the right tradespeople in the space and discuss a really exciting thing called floor heights.
Yeah, floor heights are crucial.
Floor heights are, particularly in renovations, because you're coming from one area into the next. So you have a couple of options around whether you want to rip out that whole flooring so you can have a flush finish. So ideally you're coming from perhaps carpet or floorboards or tiles into a tiled bathroom space, and you want to be able to just step straight across those with your little joint in place. What happens a lot of the time is you've got to step up because you're just ripping up previous tiles and you're keeping the same bed there. Then your tile will come and screed over the top so it raises up even higher. So we're left with that step up. So I'd highly recommend, if you can, try and work out with your trades how to take out that floor and drop it down. That's something we love to do.
As part of that is they'll say, okay, cool, how thick are the tiles you're going to use?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Am I supposed to have chosen my tiles by now? And ideally, you whip out that sample that you've paid for and you say, here it is. They look at it and they're like, okay, I can work with it. Chloe, you said plan, and I think that's on another slide we've got coming up. You can never start planning a renovation of a bathroom or any renovation too early. I know Bonnie and I dreamt about our home renos, and I had iterations of floor plans for years before you start.
Not only the tile, but your floor wastes, because there's all different types of floor waste you can go with. There's different styles and different shapes and different lengths, and you really need to get together with your trades, builder and plumber in particular, and tiler, to work out where your floor wastes are going to go. Because it
determines the
determines the tiles and how they lay them. So we've had instances where we've told our plumber, we want the waste to go there, and he's like, you actually can't have it there because of the large format tile you have. For example, the fall needs to go this way. So then you need to brainstorm, okay, if the waste is going to be in the middle of the room, I want a tile insert because it looks prettier, for example.
Yeah, and I think that's really important with waste as well. I know it's such a boring topic, but it can really make or break your kitchen, your bathroom. If you have, for instance, a freestanding vanity, hide your waste underneath that freestanding vanity. Stick it in a spot that straight away, again, when you're standing at the door, you can't see it, and strip waste. Strip waste are wonderful. Stick them at the back of your showers. You can get tile inserts for your strip waste. They look so much nicer. So although it's extremely boring, they can really make or break a bathroom as well with heights.
They can. And then one that's hiding right down there behind Chloe, ironically, is about grout.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you talk about the popularity of grout on the realestate.com.au website. Grout really matters from a design perspective.
Yeah, for instance, let's just talk about a white subway tile. So we've got a plain white subway tile, and you can lay a white subway tile numerous ways. You can do a brick pattern, straight up and down, whatever you want to do. If you choose a dark grout with that subway tile, that pattern is going to pop. It's going to be in your face and you're going to see it. If you choose a white grout with that subway tile, it's just going to look like a beautiful white wall. So it's really important what grout you use and the colours you use, and we always test it, don't we, on site?
Yeah, Bonnie takes a long time to pick grout.
Yeah, and
a
it's
long time.
You should.
How long?
Yeah, it's not that long. I don't know. But one of the great things we do, and I know I had to choose grout for my bathroom while Bonnie was away. She was in Disneyland.
She brings this up all the time.
do.
It's like I stabbed her in the heart and went away.
Well, she went to Disneyland and I had to choose all my tiles and everything without her. And I needed her and she wasn't there for me. But she had taught me already how to choose grout. So what you do is you get your tiler to bring along a few different coloured grout options, maybe that light grey, a darker grey, a white, whatever. You get your hand into the bag with the dry powder, and he's already maybe tiled your bathroom and you haven't yet chosen the grout colour, and you rub that dry grout powder into the tile, and you can immediately see what colour the grout is going to look like with your tile when it's dry.
And what pattern, whatever it is.
And what pattern pops.
Exactly
So
what.
it would be very different to what's in the powdery stuff in the bag. That's the point of actually doing it. The grout, you need to see it.
Yeah, and it's very
with the
different to when you go into a tile shop, they'll often have little strips of examples of what a grout could be on a piece of plastic. It's like, it's just not going to replicate the true grout.
Yeah.
So rubbing in the grout powders is a great tip, because if you don't talk grout with your tiler, you'll go out for lunch, come back and he's grouted your bathroom, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
He doesn't know to say to you, what colour grout do you want, or how do you want these tiles? They just think they're just in a one-track mind, and they just think you want the grout colour that they've always used.
But I think that really comes back to the challenge of renovating a bathroom, is that whole being able to communicate with the team, because we can't do it all. It's the one project in the one room in the house that it's not a DIY, because there's so many elements to it. There's waterproofing, there's plumbers, there's builders, there's a whole host of trades coming through. So how do you manage all of that? And I think that's really a question for you, Erin.
Communication, over talking, over communicating, and being really clear within yourself what you'd like to achieve. So
it's called stalking. That's what Erin does.
Knowing all your colour choices, your tile choices, how you want your tiles laid. I mean, you can mock it up yourself, do little patterns yourself, picking out everything beforehand and really talking to all your trades about it. This is what I've got, this is where I want it to go. Like a shower height, for example. If you've got your shower head coming out from the wall, the shower arm, unless you tell the plumber where you want it, they'll put it at the height that they always do. It's whatever the standard height is, but you or your husband may be 6'5" and that might not suit, or you might be very short. So where you put your shower coming out from the wall, to me that's a real personal choice. It doesn't have to be standard. So those kind of things, make sure you know before the project begins and you've communicated what you'd like, because there are instances where you will just get, the toilet will go in and you'll say, but I wanted it 5 centimetres that way. And he'll say, well, it had to go here for this reason, which is possibly not a safety reason or to the building code. It's just because he wanted to put it there. So be really clear with what you'd like to achieve.
Before we get to it, I would really love to know your pet peeves when it comes to renovating bathrooms, if there's anything along the way.
This was our third house, and can you see the little silver strip in the niche? I really don't like that. I want to say something else, but apparently I'm not allowed. And there's ways that you can get around that, and that's through mitering. And so there's ways you can't as well. So for instance, if you have a mosaic tile where you want your niche, you have to have a strip. But if you use a larger format tile where your niche is going to be, you do not have to have a strip. Right. So when your tiler says to you, no, you have to have a strip, say, no, I don't.
I was going to say, your tiler will try and talk you out of it.
He will, 100%.
Because the mitering can chip, as with a stone bench top or a marble bench top. Anything mitered can chip, but you're paying him to do a job, and if you both agree that that's what you want to do and they're happy to do it.
Yeah. And I've had it mitered for 2 years and mine hasn't chipped in my bathroom or my kids' shower.
Same. Only a year though.
Yeah. So that's one of our pet peeves, is if you can, it's just something to think about, because again, you'll go out to grab a coffee, you'll come back and that'll be on. Yeah. You just won't have talked about it.
Hide the toilet. We love toilets. Toilets are great, but hiding the toilet from, and when I say hide, it's more so if you've got a hallway, you don't really want your guests to be walking down and looking straight at a toilet. There's also privacy issues. If you live in a house with kids and people are opening and closing doors, you want to be less likely to be exposed to the world if the toilet's the first thing you see. So I'd recommend that. And there's ways to do it. So Lana's house, for example, she's built a little half-height wall because the only option in her bathroom was to open the door and just you look at the back of the toilet in her instance. So the front of the toilet is what you want to look at if you want to look at something on a toilet, because it's quite, can be nice to look at, but the back of the toilet is less appealing.
Not really the back. The three birds approach to renovating.
Plan.
Start early, okay? Because some things that tap you want, the tile you want, it could have 12-week lead times. And you need to have them all on site before your reno begins.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Erin, budget?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, budget for everything. Everything. Ask all of your trades. Have you included everything? Your tiler, has he included siliconing? I don't know. You might want to get a different trade to do your silicone at the end. The tiler might do it. Waterproofing. Where are you waterproofing up to? Double check it's all to code. Don't make assumptions about what you're paying for is what you're getting. Ask a lot of questions and budget for everything. Budget for, like it says here, the toilet roll holder.
We definitely budget for those. We've got a line item.
Robe hooks. Anything you can think of. Door stoppers. You might want a door stopper in your bathroom. Budget for all of those things.
And 3 quotes. 3 quotes are key. And cheapest is not always the best. I was having a lovely conversation earlier with someone here about sometimes the best is the person that you are going to have the best rapport with and being able to communicate with the best. So they might be that little bit more expensive, but it will be worth it in the end because you will have less stuff-ups, you will feel better about the renovation at the end of it, and overall your project will end up the way you want it to be rather than having all these problems with someone that you just can't communicate with.
Yeah, engage people that you want to spend time with. They're going to be spending time in your home. So I would say recommend employing people to do the jobs that you want to spend time with and talk to and can communicate comfortably with, because there is always, I shouldn't say always, but there's often moments where there's conflict resolution when you're renovating. So just bear that in mind.
And the last point that's completely hidden, but I don't even need to see it because it's
she
just
says it all the time.
Imprinted in my brain. Oh. But, the idea is done is better than perfect, okay? So if you are seeking perfection in a bathroom reno or in any form of reno, and you are planning to perfection and you therefore actually never get started, that is not ideal. The ideal is that you just get it done. And you know what? It won't be perfect. In every house we renovate, there is something that's not perfect. Absolutely. I was looking at the other day, some of my paint work that looked a bit dodgy, and I was looking at it and I thought, but do you know what? I feel so good because my house is done. Right? And that's how and it makes you feel good. Just get it done, guys. Okay, and it's not going to be perfect, but I want you to all walk out of here and think, I'm going to go and get something done.
From there, I would just like to say thank you so much to each and every single one of you for coming. It's been an incredible day, and thank you to everyone for being here. Thanks.